Hello YouTube, it's PS4 Gaming Scotland here and welcome back to another video. Hope you guys are well and gaming lots. So in today's video we'll be looking at best PS4 games to buy this holiday season. This will be the 2019 edition. I will probably leave the 2017 and 2018 buying guides down below in the description, as those games and those videos are relevant then as they are now. So in 2019 this edition will have a variety of games that I recommend and also games that have been recommended to me by friends, and prices will vary depending on where you are in the world, as different retailers will have different sales on, and prices will also vary depending if you pick these games up on sale or just on their own. And finally, the prices of the games in this list are correct as of November 2019, however they aren't set in stone and could change at any time. So without further ado, let's jump into my best PS4 games to buy this holiday season, the 2019 edition. So first up on this list then we have the Resident Evil 2 remake. What a game this remake turned out to be. Capcom have done a stellar job at remaking one of my favourite horror games of the last decade, and this is very good praise, as at the start of this year I had never played the Resident Evil game. The graphics, story, puzzles and of course Mr. X makes this single player game one of my 2019 Game of the Year contenders. You can get it for around £20 to £25. Next up we have Metro Exodus. From what I've seen and heard online, Metro Exodus looks like another great story driven single player game. It is the third installment in the series and is based on novels by Dmitry Glukhovsky. It is set in a harsh post-apocalyptic wasteland where the player must battle against mutated creatures and enemy humans in a variety of linear and open world levels. There is also a dynamic weather system, a day and night cycle and a crafting system, and the environment changes as you progress through the game, and it's the first honourable mention in this list. The game can be picked up for around £25. Also from February 2019 we have the direct sequel to Far Cry 5, Far Cry New Dawn. Set 17 years after the events of the game, survivors work together to rebuild the community of Hope County. Hot on your heels are the highwaymen who want to take revenge from the events of the first game. There are a variety of missions to complete. Explore to your heart's content, upgrade your weapons if you want to take the fight online. In Far Cry New Dawn's new online mode, play a variety of missions with other people in a really fun multiplayer experience. The game can now be picked up from around £17 to £20. Now on to another honourable mention, and that is Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. From what I've seen online, From Software has knocked it out the park, creating one of their most difficult games to date. The game takes place in Sengoku period in Japan between the years of 1467 to 1600, where social upheaval was very prominent in Japan's brutal history. You play as a shinobi known as Wolf, as he attempts to take revenge on a samurai clan that kidnapped his lord. The stealth action game is extremely difficult, with a lot of rage-inducing moments and boss fights to overcome, and is not one to be missed. Can now be picked up for around £40 to £45. Next up we have The Walking Dead, the final season. After the unforeseen closure of Telltale Games, nobody knew if the final season would ever get released, but thanks to the people at Skybound Entertainment, this became a reality. The game focuses on the efforts of Clementine to raise AJ, who is a child of one of the fallen survivors who unfortunately didn't make it in a post-apocalyptic world ravaged by zombies. Through exploration and the quick-time events in the game, you uncover Clementine's final moments of what has been a brilliant series of games, and definitely one not to be missed or overlooked. The game can be picked up for around £15 to £20. Next up we have Dangerous Drive-In. Dangerous Drive-In is a fun arcade racer and is heavily influenced by the Burnout franchise. It is brought to you by the small dev team at Three Fields Entertainment, who are former Criterion developers, makers of Burnout. Previous titles include Dangerous Golf and Danger Zone 2, which is a free update included with this game. A new multiplayer mode has also been added to this game, and you can pick that up for around £20 to £25. Next up we have one of the best PlayStation exclusives this year, and that's Days Gone. Days Gone was an incredible PlayStation exclusive. It followed Deacon St. John and Boozer, who were on a quest to try and find out what happened to Sarah, Deacon St. John's wife, in the game after a major event changed the game forever. Through a really relatable story and brilliant characters which you cared for and you wanted to see the outcome of the game, you can also upgrade your bike, but the most fun I had was taking on the massive hordes of freaker zombies, which made this game one of my Game of the Year contenders for 2019. Next Next up we had A Plague Tale Innocence. A Plague Tale Innocence is set during the Black Plague in 1348. It's a stealth action horror game where you play as Amicia, a young girl of noble descent who has a very ill brother Hugo. Through the hardships of trying to find a cure for Hugo's illness, through scavenging for items, crafting your sling which is your main weapon against the enemy, and solving puzzles, the game puts an early level of urgency that can't be ignored at the start of the game. The game defining horror mode of feral rats make this dark, dingy, disgusting game one not to be missed. You can pick up A Plague Tale Innocence for around £25 to £35 and Days Gone for £30 to £45. Next up we have Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. CTR is one of the most challenging kart racers to hit the PS4. It has been beautifully recreated for a modern day audience with a lot of added features for you to enjoy. I definitely recommend it if you're a fan of arcade racers, but be warned, it's very easy to pick up and extremely difficult to master. Can now be picked up for around £25 to £30. Next on this list is Control. Brought to you by Remedy Entertainment, the makers of Alan Wake, Max Payne and Quantum Break, brings you a very weird, in a good way, psychological thriller. You play as Jessie Faden, the new director of the oldest house. Wanting to find answers about her disappearance of her brother Dylan, not all is what it seems. Fight through a variety of enemies and uncover the secrets through compelling storytelling and fun action-packed gameplay. It is one of the best single-player games of the year and one of my personal Game of the Year contenders for 2019. Can be picked up for around £35 to £45. Next up, we have another honourable mention, Medieval. Medieval is a fun action-packed hack-and-slash game that has been beautifully remastered for a modern-day audience. Set in the fictional kingdom of Gallowmere, you play as hero Sir Daniel Fortescue as he makes an attempt to stop Zarok invasion of the kingdom through trying to redeem himself in what is a very charming game. Can be picked up for around £25 to £30. Next on this list we have the newest entry in the Call of Duty franchise, Call of Duty Modern Warfare. It has been completely rebooted for a modern day audience. Old favourite characters such as Captain Price and others return in the game's most gritty single player campaign in a decade. The game's most controversial multiplayer experience has been changed up quite a lot from previous years, and the game has a very good but difficult Spec Ops mode. There is a lot of content here for your money. If the devs make much needed changes to the multiplayer experience, then this game has a lot of potential to be a great Call of Duty. It can be purchased for around £45 to £50. Next up we have another honourable mention, and that is Death Stranding. After the spat between Konami and Kojima, we weren't sure what game Kojima would make next. After years of planning, Kojima Productions was born. Death Stranding was the newest game from Kojima Productions, and it has been highly recommended to me by friends. This game looks incredible, but the underlying issue is the gameplay. Delivering packages from point A to B looks boring and repetitive. However, I'm all for companies trying new things, and you never know, this game is all about bringing people together, which sounds really interesting and is definitely a new take, a new game defining genre in the making. But it also could be a game that might be worth remembering in years to come. At the time of recording this video, Death Stranding can be picked up for around £45 to £50 depending on where you shop for it. Next up we have another honourable mention, and that is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. It is the newest game by Respawn Entertainment. The game is set in the Star Wars universe, and after the events of Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith, you play as Cal, who is a new Jedi trainee who is being hunted by the Galactic Empire, all while trying to complete his training and restore the now wiped out Jedi Order. The game seems to be an interesting take on the single player genre and boasts very difficult combat. It is another game that has been recommended to me by a few friends and one I may pick up at a later date. The game can be picked up for around £45 to £50 as it has just been recently released last week. Next up we have another honourable mention, Shenmue 3. After a long 18-year wait, the sequel of Shenmue 2, Shenmue 3 is finally here thanks to a £7 million crowdfunder by the fans of this series. Shenmue was a game way ahead of its time, and I can't wait to see the outcome of this sequel to one of gaming's most anticipated games there ever has been. Shenmue 3 can be picked up for around £45 to £50. Finally, the last game on this list and the last honourable mention of this list is Life is Strange 2. With episodic adventure games, I like to play them in one go over a couple of sittings. I'm not a fan of waiting months between installments. However, this being said, this is another honourable mention as this action-packed game about two brothers' struggles through the journey across America doesn't release until the December the 3rd here in the UK, and is one game I've had my eye on for a while, and the game I can't wait to finally learn the outcome of Life is Strange 2. So that has been my 2019 buyer's guide of the best PS4 games to buy this holiday season. Hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching. I've been PS4 Gaming Scotland, and I'll see you on another video. Thanks very much indeed, guys. Bye bye.